welcome back. It's Dr. Sachs, and this is more Starfield. I hope you're doing great. I have been casting Starfield over on Twitch, and so more likely you're watching this actually on YouTube, because frankly, it's almost like I'm non-existent on Twitch after I left for a month and a half. And I'm making this content for you, the post-stream viewer, so I hope you appreciate that. It's like I'm the believer in that the content is still the content, and at some point down the road, people are going to be looking for this kind of content and enjoying it. So if you appreciate that, by all means, show your support by thumbing up the video. That's all I can ask. Thank you. Anyway, so here we are. This is my first outpost, and it started to grow and grow and grew some more, and well, I just can't help myself, and I started running errands back and forth to a nearby moon to gather more aluminum to bring back here to build more stuff. And as you can see, building stuff is expensive. I mean, look at this. One chair, one bed. I mean, that's all I can afford right now. And I've got a pretty hefty cargo space on my ship. So aluminum is important, but other things are important. Plastics, polymers, all kinds of things that I don't necessarily have a lot of. Fiber is crazy important. And why don't I have fiber? I am confused. You would think if it's so important that I would have had mounds of it by now, but I don't. I haven't been selling it. So, yeah. Anyway, the resources in the game are starting to show an ugly statistical barrier for what the player probably wants and needs for his own needs, and this is one of them for an outpost. And the outpost itself actually doesn't have that much stuff that you can really build in it, to be honest. It's pretty limited compared to Fallout 4, especially when you consider all the mods that are available for Fallout 4 settlements. Now, a lot of that, of course, will be corrected in time, but everything shouldn't be left to the modders all the time to make worth playing, right? But in fairness, I mean, it's still cool to have a working settlement in this game. And once you work out the kinks, and believe me, there are kinks, like for instance, this little fella right here, my little sanitation mini bot. He was all confused. Now he's working. But when I first spawned him in, he decided, well, I'm going to go outside. Okay, I was like, that's cool. So I followed him out. And he went over to this big, gargantuan space platform that I built for my ship, which took quite a bit of resources, let me tell you. A lot of aluminum, probably 40 aluminum or more, when all is said and done. Plus whatever else. Anyway, worth it once you get the thing to actually set on the ground where you need it to, because they could not get up the stairs. Why? Because the stairs weren't leveled out properly, despite the fact that I tried over and over. Well, finally, I got it to work, and I'm going to show you right now, so you don't have to go through the pains that I did. I'm going to show you how you want these stairs to work. It should look like this. There's obviously different tiers to this, many different tiers. This way it's designed intentionally by Bethesda. And it tries to find its own level, but it doesn't succeed very easily at all, considering that the ground, of course, is not level itself, and where you place it ends up mattering more than you think at first. So when this actually is above ground a little bit more to where this corner is above ground and just these stairs are under the ground over here where my flashlight is, it will not work. And your NPCs and their little robot that I showed you, Sam Coe's in there sleeping. He came over to the same thing as the mini-bot, and they were like, I love this space right here. I want to hang out right here, because they couldn't, the pathing couldn't get them up the stairs. So they thought, for whatever reason, the path was over here. So they just hang out back here for the rest of eternity. until I said, okay, wait, I have to fix this. It's going to make me absolutely out of my mind with my OCD if I don't fix this. So I moved this around several different locations around the base and finally settled it over here and just watched it in the overhead view, which you go to from clicking the scanner, go to Outpost, press R, then you press V or click your middle mouse button. Either way, it'll get you into this overhead view. And then I started watching the base of my stairs until I saw what I thought might be the optimal thing. Now you can zoom in by pushing your mouse forward on your mouse pad. And I said, okay, wait a minute, there. Now that I see, that looks like something anybody should be able to walk up. Let's try that. And sure enough, that was the secret sauce. It worked. Now the rest of the stuff is, well, I don't get into this, but that's a whole nother headache. Actually, I will get into this for a second because this is important. So, this right here is a platform that is used to disseminate goods back and forwards, so to speak, between your ship and your outpost. But the thing to get straight here that they do not make that clear is that in order to have something work with, let's go out of this mode so I don't have this crate bothering me. With this fabricator, any fabricator, you only want the fabricator attached to the output link, the transfer container. All right, the output link from the transfer container, you see there is that double line. That's the only thing. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong. Did I get it backwards? I probably got it backwards again. Well, now even I'm confusing myself. Where is the link to this? Hold on. All right, the straight lines, the single solid lines, that's power. Okay, so power connections, obviously, you know how those operate. You have to have power running to different objects, even though some of these objects will seem to work on their own at first until you implement more objects. And then suddenly when you go beyond your power maximums, they will cease to function. Then you have to actually pick and choose what you want to be priority by starting to spread these lines around. I don't even understand why that's a thing like that, but that's honestly the way it worked at first. Because I didn't power up these turrets, and they worked on their own when I first dropped them in. Now, let me see if I can figure out what I mean. See how confusing this can get already. Why is there not a line to it? Maybe I just don't see it. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. See, it's under the ground. Now, that's one thing that's a big difference between this and Fallout 4. Where in Fallout 4, you're using wires that are above ground. This is just basically laser beam designators, so to speak. They don't really hardwire anything in this game, so it's much easier for just a point and click to wherever you want, and the ranges don't seem to be limited much by anything either, as long as it's within the range of the settlement. So far I haven't had any issue whatsoever, and I don't mind that at all. I mean, let's face it, it's the far future. There shouldn't be limitations to stuff like you're limited in a post-apocalyptic world like Fallout. But so you can see here, this line right here is the only one going to the fabricator. Now the fabricator is uses different components to build physical objects, which are also used in additional crafting. Oh, look at me, I just got it spraying somehow. Or did it go get it worse? I think I already had it spraying and maybe it got worse or maybe it got better. I'll check that in a minute. So it's important to only have the fabricator going to your transfer container. And then everything else where you have goods stored that you want to be used by the fabricator, they all need to target, that's right, the transfer container. So they're all feeding the transfer container. The transfer container then feeds the fabricator. That was the only way I was able to get all the different types from liquids to solids, what have you, everything in between, to be utilized by the fabricator. Anyway, very confusing at first, and hopefully that will help someone. Give it a shot. So I have 3 different sources of power here. My main source of power is 3 different turbines. My secondary source of power is a single solar array that I put up. And then I have a backup source of power that uses helium, I believe it is. Yes, helium-3, which is a gas, obviously. And you have to get gas. Usually, where I find gas is at abandoned bases or pirate facilities, or some of them have taken over science-based facilities, and you can find loads of helium already prepackaged. But there must be a means of collecting the helium, which typically, I believe it's going to be on based off the skill tree possibly, but I haven't gotten to that point, so I'm not exactly sure how you collect the helium yet. But as of this playthrough so far, I do not know how to collect helium on my own. So I use this as a backup. I have it connected to this powered switch along with the construction here is controlled on and off by the same powered switch. That way I have some kind of management control over it. If I have a bunch of aluminum that goes to this, but I don't want aluminum to get chewed up really quickly, I make sure this thing is off. And then if I do need to construct stuff in an emergency, or I need to power up stuff that, say I get under attack and something knocks out some of my other power, or if I have more things that I need to power up that are typically off, like this takes 5 power on its own, and I need the extra power, then bam, I can get everything running at maximum, no problem, by switching this on, which I think generates 20 power. So a good backup, but I wouldn't recommend using it all the time unless you've got, for some odd reason, a never-ending supply of helium. Sprain cured. There we go. So I did have a sprain. I let it go. Didn't look like it was too bad. And over time, it healed itself. So excellent. Okay, so now you see one of the reasons why I'm making this content, stuff like this, to a new player especially, or somebody who's not quite as deep into the game. Things like this could be of some use. Now, I pretty much am done with the whole outpost concept for the time being. There's a good solid outpost here. It's collecting more iron than I ever will need my entire career as a bounty hunter, that is for sure. And I don't even have all the means to store it all, so it's pretty much bogged down. I'm pretty sure maxed out for the time being. I can take chunks of it and try to sell it off, I suppose. But that is the predominant resource of this moon, so like it or not, iron is what's being collected. It only gives me a couple different options. Now, I might get more options to collect based on the skill tree again, but for now, that's all I have. But the first and foremost reason for creating the outpost, of course, was to actually do it, to see how it works. The second one was to hopefully create more storage space for myself to actually offload stuff from my ships and not have to be weighed down so much, not to have to carry such big cargo units on my main ship, which is my Thunderhawk. I'm working on a second build. That's what we're going to concentrate on today, I think. I'm actually working up a new concept, a custom concept I'm going to toy with, and I'm going to need to go kill some more bad guys in ship-to-ship combat in order to get my piloting skill up, because we're getting very close to being able to get some maximum modules for spaceship construction. So that's really a big deal. And you have to get pretty high level to get all this stuff, done, get the spreadsheet filled, so to speak. I think I'm only like level 22, and I'm holding on to a skill point as we speak because I still have to go out and ace a bunch of ships in order to be able to level up my piloting, I think, to level 3. In fact, let's take a look at that real quick. So yeah, here we are. There's a combat, but I'm over here in tech. So piloting is currently rank 2. I wanted to get it to rank 3. And it's locked. I have to complete the previous stage, which is destroy 15 ships. And so far, I've only destroyed 1 since I've attained this rank. So, been busy on the ground a lot. I'm confident I can get those 15 ships killed, but it's going to take some doing because the space combat in Starfield is objectively bad. I'm just going to be honest. And it will get better once I have crew members and I have a vicious front-loaded spaceship design of my own. But as I learn more and more about the combat itself, the less respect I have for the designers, because that aspect of the game needs some drastic overhauls. One of the main things they should overhaul immediately with the next patch is to allow you to have different levels of difficulty based on ground and space, not just one blanket difficulty. Because I would lower the difficulty level on the space combat immediately because it is completely unfair, and basically it allows the NPC vessels to cheat. Their damage is insane. They almost never miss. And when you have more than 2 opponents, it's almost a death sentence. If you have 4 opponents, it is a death sentence. At least at level 22 or below. So things could change as I obviously attain crazy amounts of power and become a rich bounty hunter who can afford to build a Dreadnought, which is what I'm going to try to build. But for now, it is not a game where you can actually count on your flying skills and experience from previous spaceship combat games to avail you a whole lot of trust in the outcome. It's going to be hit or miss, and sometimes you'll win, and most of the time you'll lose, depending, like I say, on the sheer number of enemies. And there you have it. That is my opinion, and I am sticking to it. Despite the fact that I watched a video this morning of Gopher, who said that his streams were getting a lot of flack from viewers who were like, how can you be this bad at the game, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, are these people actually trying to gaslight you into saying that this is good spaceship combat? Because it is not. Oh, anyway. I need to comment on one of those videos to let him know that it's okay, man. It's not you. It's the game. Now, Sam Coe is in here. I did not see his kid, which is interesting. I thought she went everywhere with him. I just assumed when I brought him here that he would actually have the kid in tow, but I don't see her. In fact, all Sam does is sleep so far, but I'm sure that'll change. I wonder why that is that his kid isn't around. I don't want her on my spaceship, but I wouldn't mind her being in a safe ground base. Now, he should help me here to some extent. He's got geology ability. I'm not sure how that will come into play, if it does at all. I just saw a flash over there. Or was that from my turret? Oh, no, there's a flash. What was that? Oh, I put in a different Starfield sky texture. I tried another one that was supposedly based on real world photos, and that was overdone to a massive degree. But this one I actually like. I might end up using this one. Yeah, it's a little more realistic than the default, but not overly saturated with stars, nebulas, etc. I kind of dig it. If I don't notice it, that's good, right? And I didn't notice it for the first few minutes. That's a good sign. It means it's getting its job done. It's not breaking immersion. Well, I'm not sure exactly what that was. It could have been anything. It could be some ship landed over there. Something is fighting in the background. Who knows? Things do go on at these settlements, these abandoned stations, etc. Now, this is pretty awesome. If you're not aware of this, and I wasn't until I started fiddling with the outpost system, you can have your own station where you can build and even buy ships. You can upgrade and you get quite a good amount of pieces to play with. I was happily surprised. It is a long way up. Oh yeah, by the way, the lighting system on these light poles is subpar also. As you can see, the lights do not behave really the way you would imagine them to. I cannot get the lights to light up these stairs to save my soul. I have tried from all kinds of angles and distances. So I'm not a big fan of the lighting mechanic, and I'm sure modders will have to fix that also. Now, as we go all the way up, you think, hey, we're in the future. Where's my elevator, right? Let's hope we can get an elevator at some point. Maybe that's available. Maybe there's new things available, but for now, the outpost is pretty limited. I'm assuming this is because I don't have any skills, again, in the tree, which is another thing I'll talk about in the future, where I will probably be looking to modify how the skill trees work in this game, because I do not like how the tier system is implemented in these last couple of Bethesda titles. I think it really screws the role player from having a more fulfilling solo experience. I would prefer something more along the lines of Fallout 1 and 2, where you had many more abilities available to you at the very outset, and then you just basically strengthened those abilities as you leveled. So that way you could walk in and say, okay, I want to be a sniper. I want to be a trader. I want to be a merchant. I want to be a rumbler. I want to be a bounty hunter. I want to be a preacher. I want to be whatever you want to craft. You could do it and have a good template to go with that you've made on your own based on the available skills and traits. But this game is absolutely about the tree methodology, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. I'm constantly saying, oh wait, I want to do this, and then it's like, you know, hold on, I can do better than that. Yeah, it feels like that. But basically, you're not allowed to do anything until you are a certain level, and then magically you're suddenly able to do this thing, and it's like, but I just want to build a better spaceship. Can I be a guy who's good at crafting spaceships because he went to spaceship school, right? I mean, come on, man. What is this? So here is a little kiosk for the shipbuilder control console. So instead of talking to an NPC with some earmuffs on, you're talking to this thing. You get to two options: view and modify ships, and buy ships. There's no option to repair, which kind of sucks. But you can go in, at least I don't think. Let's see here. Buy ships. Yeah, there's no repair. Now you can sell, though. That's pretty awesome. So you can sell your captured ships from here. Right? So I only have 2 ships currently. I had 3, but I sold one that I captured really recently. So now this is the Razor Leaf expanded on. Now this is my experiment that I'm working with. I said, you know what? I don't really want the Razor Leaf, but I want the space that the Razor Leaf is in. So I'm going to fiddle with a new idea, but keep... I kind of like the color scheme because it reminds me a little more of the Star Wars Millennium Falcon type era where things aren't that clean, you know, like the Alien movies, that kind of thing. A little more industrial looking. I think that's kind of what I want to go for, as opposed to the much cleaner looking Thunderhawk that's based on Warhammer 40K. No, I like this boat, don't get me wrong, and it served me very well. It's my first real attempt, well, my second technically attempt at customizing my own ship. But it is bulky, it has a big cargo hold under the wings here, which is very useful, but I can do better. I need something that's going to kick ass in combat, let's face it. That's the bottom line. So that's my my next big goal right now. And having this in this space is pretty sweet. I've yet to be bothered here, which is nice. I don't have a bunch of NPCs running around, which are distracting. And it gives me the impression that I'm doing my own thing with more accessible parts than I typically see, which was the big surprise here. Big, happy surprise. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you can upgrade like you would at any other base. But the shipbuilder, I was concerned I wouldn't have a wide range of parts, but I was wrong. So if we go into here, press G, look at all the different weapons. I mean, that's pretty good. And look at all the structural. This is excellent. So now we got all the demos here. For the most part, I think it's all. Hope Tech, Nova, Stroud, Taio. I mean, that's a big chunk of stuff. And this is where you can really tell here is in stuff like shield generators. We're looking at class C, B, right? I mean, these are all giant upgrades that will be available once I get my skill set where they need to be. Like this would require Starship Design rank 4. I think I'm actually at Starship Design rank 3 right now, but I'll check that in a minute. Now reactors, same deal. I mean, I've got access to top of the line class A, which I actually think I have this on this vessel now. The 144. And then it goes all the way down to class C levels. Yeah, there's the 144 toroidal reactor, because I have the required Starship Design rank. That's the best class A reactor you can purchase so far that I've seen. So generates 23 power. Previously my reactor was limited to 20, I think. So pretty nice. Now I'm getting a warning on this ship. Reduce mass or add engines to improve mobility. It is bulky. Like I say, I am using this as a combination battleship and merchant vessel. Or basically, I like to be able to loot and loot some more. So that's why I can afford to have what I have. Like I said, the space combat in this game requires it. If you're gonna beat these things at the highest difficulty level, you got to be able to afford it. So let's go look at Razor Leaf, which obviously I need to do something about right now. I need to go into Shipbuilder, go to Flight Check, and I need to rename ship. Now, why they put rename ship under Flight Check still boggles my mind. These things are hidden within layers of an onion to get to, but when you know it, you know it. So, rename the ship. What is the logical name for this design? Well, it's so obvious. At first, I didn't even realize how obvious it was, but it is the Dreadnought. Why Dreadnought? Well, besides the fact that it is for a beastly fighting ship of old in the Navy, it is a play on words. Naught is 0, according to the British. And this ship is going to be based on the shape of a 0. There we go. Now, you might be asking yourself, why, Dr. Sachs? Why the shape of a 0? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the AI pinpoint targets center mass on me so often, it dawned on me, what if I got sneaky and gave them nothing to shoot at center mass? Haven't tested this yet, but we're going to. We're absolutely going to. Plus, I just think it looks kind of cool. This is not necessarily by any means the final ship here. This is just me putting down something to see if I could even make it work. And this is basic. Now, I might be able to get more sly with it, but there's, I think, not really that many options to create a rectangle or a circle or any kind. So this is probably close to as cool as it's going to look, but I'm going to obviously be able to play with parts on top and on bottom of these different habitations, right? I got to keep it within reason because of mass and top speed and mobility. Right now, it's actually pretty. I mean, the flight check is actually good on this vessel, believe it or not. The way it looks, and it's got a punch. I mean, I gave it some pretty wicked particle weaponry here. The electron beams. Is it electron or particle? I'm confusing myself. Let's look at this for a second also. It's all energy weapons. I usually carry some ballistic weapons like I do over on the Thunderhawk. It's traditional for me to have some ballistic weapons, but I decided on this one we'll stick with, you know, the main focus of the original Razor Leaf, just to see how it goes, and the Razor Leaf has no ballistic weapons on it. I did get rid of the lasers and upgraded my own cannons that I'm packing over on the Thunderleaf. I mean, on the Thunderhawk. Thunderleaf. They're pretty much the same weapons in almost every respect, except the PBO 30 auto electron beams. They have a range of 3,000, hull damage 9 and 9 with a 6.65 fire rate. These that came with the Razor Leaf, the Disruptor 3300A auto electron beams. Actually, no, I don't think these came. I think, I'm trying to remember. I know they were Disruptors, but they may not have been the auto versions. But either way, these probably came with the Razor Leaf. They're pretty nasty weapons. 6.65, so the same fire rate. Slightly less hull and shield damage, just one less, but they have 500 more meters of range on them. So, all in all, it kind of gives me the best of all worlds to have these four guns. I could, once I get a better reactor on this thing, I could go even crazier, obviously, with the amount of guns that I use. And missiles. This is the best missile rack that I can deal with right now at the class that we're in, which is Class A. But once I get up to Class B, we'll be packing a real wallop. Now, I think as you go up in classes in this game, B class, C class, you'll get more power, but you'll get less mobility just by default. Pretty sure that's the way it works. So ultimately this could end up being a big Class C vessel. Just depends on how I think things play out in the combats. If I end up feeling that being a slow but deadly dreadnought or true dreadnought vessel is the way to go, then that's the way we will go. But if I can see that a little bit of player skill is yet to be squeezed for victory, then I will stick to something with some more mobility. But right now, I'm not that convinced that that's going to be the case. So we will see. It'll all based on what kind of death I'm able to serve to the NPCs in the upcoming tests, and some of that will be happening in this recording. So anyway, I think I'm looking to take this out into some combat actually as is, but this cowling piece I'm not too hip on. It doesn't connect for some reason. I don't know why. It's odd. I do not get the design of some of the pieces in this game. There's probably another piece that I could put behind this cockpit. Now let me look at some of these pieces. Just for laughs. Now the problem is cargo. I've got a massive amount of cargo on the Thunderhawk. If I take this thing out, it's going to overload my cargo. That's why I want to offload stuff onto the ground. But those warehouses that I have access to, there must be ways to get bigger and better warehouses, because I've only got access to the quote-unquote small warehouse, which only holds 75 units. And that's ridiculously low. That's literally half of my backpack space on my character for a big storage unit. How that makes any sense at all, it doesn't make any sense. I'm going to probably end up modding it because that's absurd, but for now, that's what we got. So I've got a couple of those, and that's not even close to enough. And you can't just dump anything into them either. They have to be 3 different types or 4 different types of storage containers. And that becomes a whole nother process and problem. All the micromanagement, it's like, it's fun to a point, but after a while, you just don't want to be bothered with it. All right, so structural, let's look at this. Belly. What would this be used for? I guess underneath something? Yeah. Huh. Yeah, okay, I can kind of see it. Braking engine. That would be kind of cool on the nose like that. Oh, look at that. It even fits in there too with, wow, that's wild. That's on purpose. Look at this. It works perfectly with this weapon mount. I was not expecting that. I might actually keep these. This I don't think I'm going to want because it's going to... It already is breaking landing gear. Yep. All modules must be above the landing bay. So yeah, this is not necessary. I was just giving it a look. We kind of wanted to have the industrial look, so it doesn't have to be all smooth surfaces and joints all completely perfectly attached either, but some things will stick out more to me than others. Bumper. Interesting. Surprised that it's slotted in there. That might be from a mod that I have allowing that little bit of an overlap, but I'm not sure. I don't really have a logical place to put something like this. At least not yet, unless I expand on this ship and make it even larger. But it's already pretty long at 34 meters. I think that's pretty long already. Because I've got a full range of stuff in here. Science and workshop. That gives me all the benches that you could ever want. Got a little storeroom attaching those back here. And then captain's quarters, armory, and all in one berth. I also wanted to get rid of ladders. That was kind of another secondary goal, was to just have no ladders at all. Except for, of course, getting in and out of the vessel itself. Interesting asymmetrical way of handling the landing bay, but it's still symmetrical and, well, in presentation. I think it's pretty nifty. This is just here for fun. I'm going to get rid of it probably ultimately. I was doing this in order to raise my skill level with construction and shipbuilding to skill up, but it just remained. This obviously, I don't know yet what I'm going to do with this. That's probably what I'm looking to get rid of. So let's go through. There's the cowling right there, same one. The hull. I don't think this will... Yeah, that's of no real use. Radiator. That's an interesting piece. Well, that's kind of cool, actually. See, that kind of adds some flavor. Could even double it up. What's this? Skeg? I have no idea. What is a skeg? Is that a word I should know? These, on the underbelly? This is interesting. Let's see what this is all about. That's not going to work out either. Too deep. Now, of course, if I want ladders in this vessel, no problem, but no. Oh, this was also nice. It came with this from the Razor Leaf, a slim docker, which is a difficult to get piece when you're early in the game. Also, another difficult to get piece that the Razor Leaf comes with is this little shielded cargo hold. So those are a couple of nice items right out the get-go. I mean, I have access to them here now with this base, I do believe. I've got a very big range of cargo units I could throw onto this. And that's also something I will ultimately have to consider doing, because I need to have decent cargo space, but not at the cost of mobility. Spine. Okay, interesting. This might actually work out also. Let's see. Interesting. Something, I mean, I can see over here possibly. Radiator would make sense. Back in here. Another spine. We can always just resell these things at cost, so before you leave the actual builder itself. So I can go crazy with this stuff and just look at it. There's a lot of these. See, I haven't really seen a lot of this Deimos stuff before now, so pretty nice. Another one. And another. Wow. Yeah, this stuff looks more like it would be on, I don't know, a merchant vessel. I like this fact. The fact this thing has some nice attachment areas. These are way too chunky. I mean, if I was making something that's supposed to be bulky, like a merchant here or something, yeah, I could see it, but again, no flush connection here to the cockpit. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't like these basically two-story pieces. This... What about over here? Nope. I want a flat profile too, right? I want to make it difficult. Well, seemingly difficult for the computer to hit me. I still don't think it's going to matter what kind of profile I give to the computer. It's still going to wallop me anyway, but yeah. No sense in making it too easy. All right, but this is kind of nice right here. That's a potential. This could also be reversed, probably. Let's see. Yes. Or something like that. Well, that's kind of looking... Yeah, that's a possibility right there. Of course, it adds quite a chunk of... Well, not actually. It doesn't... That's not a lot of mass, actually, when you look at it. That's only 8 total. That's not bad. And it doesn't really cost that much either. Now, tails. Tail. That is... What is that all about? That is a big honking piece. I mean, you could potentially put something, but why? Why would I do that? No, no. Yeah, that's not going to work on this build. Wings. For those of you who aren't aware, you press your arrow keys or your... Yeah, no, it is the arrow keys. Not A and D doesn't even work, but if you use arrows, you can go to the... You see those solid lines below Deimos there. When you see those lines, those slashes, hyphens, whatever you want to call them, that means there's more than one piece in that category. A wing. These are actually kind of neat. Okay, let's see. Interesting. Basically the same piece, but just reversed, and then you can reverse them again, depending on starboard or port, right? But there's nothing can attach to the side of it, unfortunately. I mean, let's see something. So, if I take this off, and I replaced it with this, what kind of engines are we talking about here? So I've got the Ares DT60. Those are really good engines, actually. They require those. Oh, wow, those are actually excellent engines, and they come by default with the Razor Leaf. That's exceptional. So yeah, the Razor Leaf at first glance doesn't look that good, but it's got some hidden little gems inside of its build. Unfortunately, they are very limited to how they can be attached. What about these gear? Also very limited. Well, just for fun, let's see. Let's look at this, because I do have... I forget what my Starship Design rank is at. I think it's at 3. Let's look at engines. So I think these aren't even available in here. These engines. These crafty things, they're not. Wow. Yeah, they're not even available on this builder at this station. Look at that. Well, these are actually exceptional engines, so I want to keep using them. These are Class B. I wouldn't even be able to use these. So, as far as Class A go, these are top of the line Class A engines. These Ares DT60s, Panoptes. Huh. Very nice. So as cool as those wings look, there's really no place to put them at the moment. I want to keep using these sweet, sweet engines that I do, obviously. Unless I can somehow... Never say never. There might be a way. I'm sneaky. I might figure a way here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's feasible. Unless... Yeah, those are weapon... That's a weapon contact right here, not a panel contact. Yep, I don't think it's going to happen. It's worth a look, though. Three mass on those. Just playing around and see how it looks and keep experimenting. All right. Back to structural. You can see all the different cargo holds that are available. It's crazy. These are the ones I'm using on the Starhawk. Thunderhawk. Starhawk. Thunderhawk. Now keep in mind I have a mod that increases the capacity of these modules. I could put something like a caravel on here. Potentially. Yeah, keep it on the inside, maybe. That's actually interesting. So I still have open area. And I get quite a boost to cargo with this. Oops, what are you doing? Interesting. That would make me more likely to get hit, though. But, I mean, it's yet to be tested. That's a lot of mass. Each one of those is 64 mass. Yikes. Yeah, it's already complaining about too few landing gears to make the vessel that much heavier. But for a fighting vessel that wants to keep a low silhouette, that's pretty good. Actually, these aren't bad. Wait a minute, what am I looking at here? Panoptes. $570 for 56 mass. Well, that's shielded cargo hold. Wow, that's a massive, but 152 mass a pop. Oh, yikes. I did notice that I have all this shielded available at the base for the outpost, which has just definitely got my attention immediately. I was like, oh, that's usually not even something I could find so far. So there's a good reason just right there by itself. If you want to smuggle stuff, or if you're playing a pirate or smuggler build, get your outpost going. Okay. Could consider doing a different landing bay. But I think what we have works. I think, is that what I have? Yeah. Yep. We're good on weapons. Structural, can have a lot of fun with this still. Let's go down. Where were we? Where did I leave off? More wing parts. I mean, possibly, depending on the kind of landing gear. I could consider attaching a landing gear, a different type of landing gear, to one of these. Interesting. Let's see what would happen if I did. I would shrink my silhouette some more. That's interesting. The weapon connection. Is this for weapons or for... Let me see something. Yeah. I can't put any landing gear on here, even if I wanted to. I don't think. No, hold on a minute. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. You need something like... That Hope landing gear is probably, that's kind of sweet looking with the headlights. Hold on now. Stumbling into stuff. Yeah, these. I use these on the Thunderhawk. But they may not work because of the way see, they're way lower than the landing back here. So that's not going to work out. Not going to work, but this, on the other hand... Ooh, that I kind of like. Yes. That has potential. Lander thrust 1. I'm not sure what that means. Not sure. What's this thing complaining about now? Ship exceeds max length, width, or height. What? No, it doesn't. Must be because of the detachments. Pretty sure that's not going to work out, so get rid of it. Sadly. And I don't like this anymore, so get rid of that. Module below landing bay. There is? Where? Oh. This. Throw this over here for now. This fits in here, but this probably will not. Oh, no, it does. But that looks silly because blocks. The jet output. Point 3G landing gear. I'm pretty sure I have access to these, so I might just delete these. Yes. There's actually different styles, and I have the aft ones on there. Alright, so just get rid of these for now. See if that reduces any errors. Yes, nominal. Okay, it's starting to take shape. Got a pretty high mass, though, because of the cargo. But the cargo is massive. Much bigger than I thought I'd be able to get it to. Again, this is modded, but still, even unmodded, there would be a lot of cargo here. Let's change the colors. Let's see. What does that even do? What's the third color? Oh, I see the line, yeah. I swear that does not look like it's changing color. Or cancel that. Select one of these. All right, now it shows. Colors in use. Let's see if I can turn. They need a better way to keep track of the color, the kind of custom colors between builds. So I have favorites, color favorites that are just there all the time, regardless of what piece I'm looking at. That's not what I'm going for here. How did I do it before? Hold on. I think I just went here. And I move the sliders slightly. And the emergency test just came across. This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. The purpose is to maintain and improve alert and warning capabilities at the federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial levels, and to evaluate the nation's public alert and warning capabilities. No action is required by the public. So that just came across my phone. Wild. I just took control of my phone, basically. It just scared some of my family members, apparently. Anyway, back to this. So I think now, hopefully, if I hit enter, that will keep those colors for this build, but it won't keep them between builds. That's the problem, see. But now if I go here and I click this, yeah, there they are. So color 1, we want basically black, and color 2, I don't think that is actually right. Let me see something. Let's go to another one of these pieces. More of a brown than a black. Enter. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now it should match the color scheme that I've got going on. You do the same thing with this. You guys will learn all kinds of stuff from me today. Hopefully, if you're watching this. If anybody ever sees this. Of course, it would be easier probably just to duplicate this, but I'm not sure. This is just as easy once you have the colors. Coming together here. Okay, so I'm going to do something here in a second. I'm going to back out of the editor because I don't believe it auto saves while you're in here. Now, I do not want to risk something calamitous happening after all the work I'm putting in here. So let's go ahead and tab and then accept. And then exit again.
Who needs star yards when I have you around?
Okay. Yep, I am a star yard. So now we save. Go back in. Sure, my coffee is cold by now. Yep, actually, this idea is coming together. I'm fairly pleased. Logically, this machine should be harder to hit. Overall, should be easier to maneuver inside of also with no ladders, which will be nice. Let's face it, the ladders are cool, but they slow you down. And they are buggy sometimes, where they don't texture properly in between levels. stuff like that irritates me. So the more that I can get rid of stuff like that, the better. We haven't checked out the interior yet, though, so I'm going to keep the cargo capacity for now, even though in combat I probably will ultimately want to get rid of those in the middle if it actually serves its purpose. And I do suck some of the enemy's attacks to go through my center point. But I do have a lot of cargo on the Thunderhawk, so probably best that I have ample space to transfer stuff over until I have more places to either sell off what I have and or store it on the ground at my outpost and or outposts. All right. Back to the builder. Now, of course, once I go out and I start fighting the bad guys and I'll be able to get my skills up to the ranks that I need, I can outfit this thing with even more formidable stuff than we're looking at now. Like, really, the big game changer is when I can finally put my first turrets on, as I found out that those are auto-firing guns that can be used to even attack bad guys behind you, so, or on the sides. And that will be a big, big game changer. They really should make it so when you're in the builder, it defaults to make anything that appears in the builder, it will not warp into your ship. It'll automatically stay away from your existing pieces. That would be nice. But that's not the way it works. So you have to always make sure you're playing outside of the line, so to speak. Bumpers. An interesting piece that I've never really had found a reason to use yet, but we'll bring it out. Optech cap. Aft. Ay, ay, ay. Let's just put these down, just... Oh, God, see what I'm talking about? I've used these before on Thunderhawk. I don't think I'm going to use any of this stuff, but a radiator port. Those are kind of wild. I like these too. Nova thruster array. Port. If only this game actually had thrusters by default and everything, it would make sense compared to what they have now, because you can actually do thrusters in game, but they're invisible. So that's only recently I even realized that's even a thing. Because what I consider thruster is what they call booster. So it's confusing. It's kind of silly. Which that, when you press spacebar while in ship combat, apparently you can go into thruster mode, which allows you to maneuver side to side more than you normally would, because it kills your engines, which would explain why these ships that have dead engines are maneuvering, even though it doesn't make any sense when you think about it. Like, well, how are the thrusters maneuvering anything if the engines are dead? But hey, what do I know? Again, if it was visual, if they actually showed that stuff in game, it wouldn't be nearly as likely to offend or confuse people. These are pretty... I wonder if these actually fire off and have some animations. I'm tempted to add these just because of that possibility. Of a weapon mount. Don't crash. That was weird. Trying to find something that would actually go behind that cockpit design from Deimos. These side caps also are kind of nice. All right, so I don't think any of this stuff is going to work behind this. See, nothing will actually snug up to this, so I guess I should just get used to the fact. It just irritates me. That actually doesn't look terrible. With a different piece behind it, that's a possibility. Well, that would have to be on the... That is a weird piece. Hope Tech thruster, this massive thruster. I guess you would put in the front like that. Yeah, but it's just too much. It's too large. Yeah. Don't see any real need for these unless I was to do that, but I don't like that nearly as much. So that's not going to happen. Already have those on the Thunderhawk. Big ol' honking radiator. It's way too big. I mean, kind of cool. It would actually make more sense to put it in here if things actually shot through that, but they won't, I'm sure, so it would defeat the purpose. That's kind of cool. The marker, I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be, like an antenna or something. The reason I like it is it's a little bit different. Gives it more of a planetary side base look to it when it's on the ground. But also, could it serve as a defense against something targeting the shield protector, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. This again, these are for the front also. They don't even work because they bump into the weapons, so just a very awkward, weird piece. For some reason you can't reverse. So that's not going to happen. This isn't going to happen. Well, those fit together pretty nicely. I didn't realize. Ah, there we go. That's why. That's kind of a possibility I hadn't considered. I mean, could do this. But then that puts it out there like a big target. Yeah, nah. I mean, I could put it up here. That would be right behind the cockpit. It would have some protection. If only pieces worked the way I think they should work, right? Where different pieces could actually protect and act as protection, like these bracers should logically be a protective barrier for the grav drive right here, right? Or if I, covered the reactor. I mean, if that was the case, then I could put something like this across, everything back here. And feel good about it. Now, what the heck is going on? Drag. And sometimes this builder just does not function. What are you doing? Drag. All right, I don't even have a place to put these, unfortunately. Unless I take that out of there and put there. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Kind of digging that, actually. Yeah. It's looking more Star Citizenry to me. I mean, this is a piece that could go on the inside also in here, right? Kind of sweet. Especially behind the shield generator like that. Almost looks like it's part of the whole. So this has turned into a long, drawn-out builds episode, but hey, variety of content. Wait, what? Oh, that's interesting. I'm liking these here. And I'm kind of digging it now. This overall look is pretty good. It's coming together. I've given up on even trying to connect anything to this. I just think it's going to just fly solo by itself like that. I guess that's really the way it's designed, so we'll leave it. Yeah, I'm just not seeing any better way to make this happen the way I want, so let's gonna go do a test run with this sucker at some point soon. Nah, I've got to get rid of it now. That's a little too much. Now we just need to do some color. Let's see. It changed the colors on me again. You see that? Is that because I went out and saved? Yep. Arg, arg, arg. All right, hold on. All right, now we do this. That really is needlessly annoying, and hopefully a modder will address this because I doubt we'll ever get joy from Bethesda on this. Apparently you can't color the missiles. Does that mean you can't color the guns either, huh? Okay. Color the radiators. I like the color of the panels, actually. We'll leave that. Oh, you can only change one thing anyway. They stay that way. And this is the way the colors were on the Razor Leaf, or the white 4, and this red pinstripe. So I'm going to leave it just for a little iconography tucked in there, a little homage. Let's do these colors though. Wait a minute, what happened? That's weird. Gives almost like a stripe there. Digging it. Let me know what you guys might like to see as a color scheme on this beastie. Comments. Amazing what a difference colors make in this builder. It's looking kind of menacing. And then once we get this, same routine. Got to go out and save it. Not sure if that's saved. We'll hit it again. There we go. And that's that. The new Dreadnought. Let's see here. Let's compare real quick. So the cargo capacity is massive on this thing. 5,960. I'm using 3,070 currently, so that's actually good. I did manage to cut it down quite a bit by offloading stuff. And I haven't even bothered to sell a whole lot of stuff yet. but may not need to. Let's see. Switch over the Dreadnought. I have more than enough cargo capacity. I have 4,340, so that's less. But I also have shielding capacity of 480, which will be nice because I've never really tried to be running around with, you know, the naughty stuff in my cargo hold. But that may change now if I could profit off of some of the xenotech. I'm not going to be running drugs, but xenotech and stuff like that. I see no reason why my bonder wouldn't do some deals. Considering the guys he has to fight. All for the greater good, right? So bottom line, I think I'm ready to switch over to this. Make home ship. Boom. There it is. Oh yeah, much slimmer, sleeker profile. Might be more of it from certain angles, but from the front and the sides, it won't be nearly as easy to hit, you would think. And this is my own design, so that makes it that much more special. I mean, the Thunderhawk is my own design, but based on an existing design. This is something just completely different. Just taking what I've learned and putting it into the process. I like these lights in the front. But they don't seem to cast any actual light. See, that's the thing. Modders are going to have to make it so these lights actually do things. Also, you cannot put your own lights out here on the landing pad, which is a pretty big oversight. There's those thrusters I put in. See, everything looks logical, functional, utilitarian. I like it. And man, now that I know how good these engines are, I'll never say a bad thing about the Razor Leaf again. That's it for this episode. We're just over 2 hours in. I'll edit this down so it's more concise. So by the time you're seeing this, it's hopefully been less than 2 hours. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. I did. I'm looking forward to giving this thing a few fighting runs and see what I could do with it. Until next time, I'm Dr. Sachs. I'll see you again soon.